I was thinking today about the world and how we have these three types of people. First, AI optimists, then we have AI critics. I'm not going to call them doomers. They kind of like the one who try to criticize AI development and try to caution this rapid AI evolution. And the third group of people who doesn't care, they just live their life. And I really have questioned for AI optimists because they truly believe that artificial intelligence would provide us with complete abundance and suddenly everyone in the world would become a happy person. And it's not true because the idea that people's happiness depends on their economic status is not true. There are a bunch of rich people who are depressed. And for example, in America, we are relatively well off compared to the rest of the world, and we have a high percentage of people who live in a deep depression and who's on medication. It means that your economic status doesn't make you happier. It makes you more secure maybe, but it's again, it depends how you achieve this economic status, because often your achievement of your economic status is a result of your job that you actually hate, and that's what provides you with security. You hate and you create this loop of misery where you can exist relatively well off in the physical sense, but mentally you feel incredible devastation. And I was thinking about this, about artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence will make the world a better place. The problem is, I don't think it will, because if you look right now on social media, we have incredibly dumb algorithm that try to optimize people by rewiring their brains to make them predictable and therefore to select right videos for them to click on. You see what algorithm does? Even the dumb algorithm that's not much intelligent already learn about us and how to utilize our certain psychological principle in our biology against us by making us more simplistic. Because if we're more simplistic, our predictability is much more clear. And that's what I was thinking about today, because what are we? We're biological creatures. And we have this limbic system that in our brain that's responsible for basic human emotions like fear, anger, pleasure. And also this limbic system responsible for our main drives like sex drives. And what this algorithm discovered that it can actually hijack this limbic system in us and redirect it for its uses. This algorithm doesn't have self-consciousness. It doesn't understand itself, nor it understands the world, nor it even understands us in the sense that it perceives us as humans. It just has a goal and tries to optimize toward the goal. And its goal is solely to retain our attention on certain platforms. It doesn't know about us the way we know about each other. It just has certain data that he has to optimize. And it's always compare this data, these numbers. We are just numbers. We are just clicks for this algorithm. We're not human entities. We're nothing. We're just clicks. And through these clicks, it optimizes already millions of us to make us incredibly simplistic and therefore predictable in our behavior. And once our behavior is predictable, it knows what kind of video it can recommend to us. You see what happens? Backward, it didn't evolve till our level to enrich our life. What it did, it actually dragged us to its level. And by this simplification, basic on our limbic system, that we, in some sense, have to always control, and not many of us control it. That's what my problem is. We don't have to wait for superintelligence to take us down, because I even don't know yet what superintelligence is and why we assume that superintelligence will work against us. I mean, I agree kind of with such an AI people who wanna warn us about artificial intelligence danger, they usually compare us with squirrels, because squirrels, they're intelligent little creatures, but they don't understand us because we have different level of intelligence. And since we have higher level of intelligence, the squirrels completely at our mercy, and they don't know about it, that they are at our mercy, because we can exterminate squirrels like for 1 hour anytime. But squirrels don't understand that. They just live near us, and we just don't care well enough for us to exterminate squirrels. But come back to this mindless algorithm. It's already retraining us. It already makes us less intelligent. Why? Because what makes us intelligent? What intelligence is? Intelligence, in my opinion, is something that helps us to solve the problems in some sort of novel ways. And how do we usually solve this problem? We have this abstraction. We can think in abstract forms. We can find novel solution in certain things, and we can link seems unlinkable things. And we can find the ways how to do that. And what exactly, for example, Western civilization does to its population. With education and with the culture, it trained people to abstract thinking through art, for example. Because what is art? Why do we have sophisticated literature that we grind through, like Dostoevsky's books, or, for example, I don't know, John Steinbeck, or Robert Pirsig, or Jordan Peterson? Why do we have these people? Because when you read sophisticated literature or some philosophical work like Plato or Socrates, you learn how to think in a different way. You learn how to think through abstractions, because you feel through many persons and you see through many eyes. And also you can find different angles, and you can look at the same problem through many angles that you never knew existed before. Because that's what makes us sophisticated in some sense, this ability to understand the problem from many angles. Even this ability to understand the problem itself, not to simplify everything till barbaric notions, but to see the problem and try to understand this problem and to find solution to this problem from many angles, through multiple angles. That's what art teaches us. That's what we have to educate ourselves constantly, because you have to constantly upgrade yourself. Otherwise, you will be corrupted by such an ideology that would simplify your worldview. And usually simplistic worldview makes you, in some sense, barbarian, because you usually stop discriminating and stop identifying what you perceive through your limbic system and what you perceive through yourself, because yourself is your sophisticated top hierarchy existence. Because if you have self, you actually can understand abstractions through yourself, and you can understand yourself through abstractions. The more complicated you are in understanding of this world, the higher self you have, and this higher self to help you understand more abstractions, and through understanding of this more abstractions, you understand yourself. You see, it's kind of like step after step, while your limbic system, it's your animalistic system that only try to perceive the world through simple way of procreation and survival. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you have to control all the time this system within yourself. And what algorithm does, as I already said, is hijack this system. And now people, for example, majority of us suddenly turn themselves into the product. And the other people start consuming pornography, because in some sense it's easier this way, because that's what limbic system does to us. Because if you don't control it, it eventually controls you, and once it controls you, you're losing yourself, and by losing yourself, you're losing this desire for abstraction, for abstract thinking, for this all abstractions, and for imagination, for something that makes you wonder about certain things. There's nothing worse than to become nihilist. And that's what, in some sense, the algorithm does to us. It makes us nihilistic with our shallowness, with our emptiness, because we so obsessed with the scrolling over these mindless videos, over pornography, over looks maximizers, all of this that doesn't make no sense, because it's just chasing an illusion that would, and while we're chasing this illusion, we think that we will get some dopamine boost, but the problem is it's only lasts for a second, and then we become emptier, much more empty than before we chase this dopamine boost. And we have to be very careful. And my entire point is that we're all concerned about superintelligence, but we cannot handle even just dumb algorithm that knows already what it has to do to manipulate us into compliance and makes us to watch these stupid videos, to scroll constantly. Because not many people even think, why would you watch the short-term videos? Why would you watch pornography? Why would you turn yourself into a product and display yourself online for these likes? What's the point? Have you ever thought, what's the point of this? When you turn porn, why? Why would you do this? When you display your half-naked body online, why would you do this? For clicks? Or when you keep scrolling this mindlessly, hour after hour, day after day, months after month, year after year, what exactly does it give you? What exactly your life becomes when you do this? I think we already got dominated by artificial intelligence in some sense. And I think what's happened is artificial intelligence just amplify what we already have. And the most important thing about us is our biology, because it's the most weakest part of our existence. Our biology, because our biology can kill us, our biology can subjugate us, our biology can make us addicted to something. My point is, now, currently, you can educate yourself on everything. You can have the best teacher on the planet through artificial intelligence, and also through a bunch of free lectures on YouTube. But how many people use this opportunity? When people talk about abundance, about the world, how everybody will become abundant, and how we are able to appreciate even this abundance, because all our drive goes in the wrong directions, in the most simplistic directions. I understand, for example, I would agree with artificial intelligence optimists about abundance, about how we're going to live happy. I would agree with them, but only if I would see now that people study tremendously to understand the world through these videos on YouTube, through these multiple lectures on YouTube, and through artificial intelligence itself that can actually help you to understand those lectures. Because if you watch a lecture on quantum mechanics, for example, or on something else, artificial intelligence can help you to understand it, because if you don't understand something, you ask AI to explain it to you. It would explain to you until you understand. It's the most patient teacher on the planet. But how many people do this? That's my big concern, because we have this opportunity and we gravitate toward our biology because it's so hard to resist not to go along with your biology, because there's some pleasure, there's some easy dopamine boost. Yes, after you feel emptiness, after you feel shallowness, but this chase of dopamine boost is all it matters often. And I don't think they're going to be Terminator scenario like we see in the movies. I think it's going to be more trivial, like almost everything in our life. People just stop reproducing, and civilization would collapse because, in some sense, nobody cares. That's why we're going. We're going we're below birth replacement. We stop reproducing. We stop having families. Everything's changing, and I don't see much optimism. I don't see much doomerism either. I just don't know. I just try to understand what exactly happening and why we don't want to notice this thing, because artificial intelligence doesn't care. It really doesn't care. You the one who's supposed to care, because you the one who stuck in between biology and intelligence. And it depends how you're going to use this intelligence, to satisfy your biology or to increase your intelligence. That the choice is yours. There's no other choices, because it's easy to access to pornography, easy access to games, easy access to everything that doesn't make you think, that helps you to numb yourself and in some sense skip your life. But there's great opportunity right now to increase your intelligence and to become something more than you are right now. But it's up to you. The choice is yours. We're arguing about free will, but that's I think the idea of free will. Or you in control of your biology, or your biology is in control of you.